very warm welcome to the preview of the third and the final test that will be played between India and South Africa in Cape Town. Well, there's a series at stake for both the teams, with this being the decider. The series is right now 1-all. That's the scoreline. Can India create history by winning this third and the final test, or will it be South Africa who will show yet again that it doesn't matter if your team is inexperienced? When you put your heart and soul into something, you always get the results. So what will it be? What are the changes the two teams are likely to make? What are the conditions in Cape Town? Lots to discuss. Nikhil Narayan is here with me. Nikhil, thanks for joining us. Let's get straight into it. If you look at the two teams and the result of the series so far, India will go in under more pressure given what is at stake.
Absolutely, Maya. India do start as marginal favorites for me, at least, because they have a better team overall. But the way South Africa came back at the Wanderers, there's nothing into it. I think it's a 55-45, 54-46 to India at Cape Town. But a big occasion, one of the biggest test matches, I would say, in the last 15 years anywhere in the world. A series decider, a chance for India to create history, also a chance for South Africa to start their resurgence in test cricket after the retirement of greats like A.B. de Villiers, Amla, etc. They've gone down. So this is a big test match in the cricketing calendar. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Yes, let's see what happens. And what is happening is that Virat Kohli comes back into the side. So that's good news for the Indian team and the Indian fans. The other thing being the difference that this makes, because yes, Virat Kohli hasn't been among the runs, Nikhil, but you can expect him to, really lead the team from the front as he's done. And also he has that killer instinct, which I felt was kind of lacking towards the end of the last test match, even when it came to just trying to do something different, trying to get your bowlers to do something. I felt like Virat Kohli would have been slightly more, aggressive on the field. So yes, we'll talk about Virat Kohli, but the history, if you look at history itself, that suggests that that India have never won here. Will it change this time around? We'll see. But this is what Virat Kohli had to say. He said, let's not get away from the reality too much. It has happened a few times in my career. This is on his form. England 2014 was one of those stages. But the thing is that I don't look at myself from the lens that the outside world uses to look at me. Eventually, the standards that we are talking about today, once I'm being compared to, have been set by myself. And rightfully so. I mean, all of this is exactly what Virat Kohli had, and as he took over with the vision that he had. Now, the other thing that he talks about team's growth is that we all look back at that phase where it's hard to believe. I look back at the time when I became a test captain. We were number 7 in the world. We can't even relate to that reality anymore because we've been number 1 for 4 or 5 years in a row now. It has been our main commitment and passion, almost a madness, the whole squad. But obviously, I had to lay down a vision and path that we need to follow. I had to lead from the front in that regard because I knew that I will have to kind of play with a very high intensity to be able to drive this passion and this motivation and this environment in the team. So yes, very clear words from there, and something we all have seen and known, Nikhil, about Virat Kohli. This is a vision that he, along with Ravi Shastri, Bharat Arun, set for this team. They all knew what it took for any teams to become number 1 in the world, and they have been, consistently been right at the top when it comes to Test cricket. So yes, he talks about intensity, vision. I wonder if this 99th Test is going to be that Test match where we can see a big score from him. I remember him in the press conference also talking about how, when someone was asked, what did you feel when you missed the last test? And he said, कुछ अजीब सा feel होता है. मुझे लग रहा था, थोड़ा सा guilty भी मुझे लग रहा था. So, I mean, at some point, it is going to happen. It could be possibly this test match.
Yes, Maya. See, Virat Kohli has put test cricket, for him, test cricket is the most important format by far. And the results show for India. Make no mistake, Forget that he has a test average of 26 since his last test 100 against Bangladesh at the Eden Gardens 2019. The fact is that under Virat Kohli, India has been the #1 ranked team, as he said, in the last 4 or 5 years. They're currently #1. They have won the first series in Australia. They lead 2-1 in England. They're on the cusp of becoming the first Indian team to win in South Africa. The team plays to win, which I cannot say for any other team. I cannot even say that for a team under Ganguly or Dhoni. This team only plays to win, and that is mainly due to what Virat Kohli believes in. Virat Kohli has been an inspirational leader. Maybe what he lacks in strategy, he replaces that by his words, by what his actions on the field. He's always animated by his performances before 2019. So Virat Kohli coming back is a massive boost for India. He is India's greatest test captain ever. He is one of the greatest test captains amongst all Asian teams ever. Let's not mince words here. And Virat Kohli, those are very strong words by Virat Kohli. He's basically telling his team, he's inspiring them. He recognizes the importance of this match. This could really define Virat Kohli's legacy.
Absolutely. With this team already having won twice in Australia and now leading a series in England, this is the last bastion of sorts, the fortress that they've not been able to breach. Will it be in this test match that India creates history? So yes, a lot is at stake, but we also know that this is the perfect team with this perfect opportunity to create that history. Though, if you look at the last test match, Nikhil, the one key difference you saw in both the teams was how the pace bowling attack of South Africa sort of adapted to the conditions in Johannesburg better than the Indians. And, they know these conditions really well. How different will it be this time around on the pitch in Newlands?
Yes, I think there is one major difference between the pitch and the Wanderers and the pitch at Newlands. The pitch at Wanderers offers a lot of bounce. It was also slightly uneven. So that helps the South African bowlers who use their height advantage. Indians are not that tall. At Newlands, the bowlers who do well essentially rely on the seam movement. It happened in 2018, Meha. Vernon Philander and Bhuvneshwar Kumar both bowled used the seam brilliantly, and therefore they stood out. So I think at Newlands, more than the bounce, the seam movement will come. Sharma plays, he uses the seam movement well. Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami will be a key bowler here. So I think at Newlands, both the bowling units are at par. Having said that, beware of Kagiso Rabada in Newlands, Meha. He has an excellent record at this venue, and with his spell, he changed the match. At Johannesburg in the second innings. From India's point of view, my only concern is Jasprit Bumrah, and we have those graphics. His numbers have gone down since he returned from a stress fracture in February 2020. His average and strike rate are both considerably down for India. Also, the use of the short pitch delivery is not as effective. Batsmen are more in control against his short pitch delivery. So I think Jasprit Bumrah's declining form in Test cricket is a worrying sign for India.
In fact, we can put those numbers up on the screen for everybody to see. Jasprit Bumrah's declining numbers since Feb 2020, as Nikhil was talking about. And in that, before that, 12 matches, he'd taken 62 wickets, average of 19.24. But look at what Jasprit Bumrah has done after Feb 2020. 14 matches, 45 wickets, but the average not as good as what we saw before. The strike rate also having gone up to 63.9%. Forced shot percentage is 17% after Feb 2020. So you do see a difference. It is not an alarming difference, but a difference that I think the team management would like to address at this point. And given that, in this test match, you're not going to have Mohammad Siraj, Nikhil, we're going to talk about who is his likely replacement. But given the kind of support Bumrah has got from Mohammad Siraj, from Shami, as well as from Shardul Thakur in the last match, he's not going to have that support from Mohammad Siraj. It is crucial for him to get back to bowling the best that we've seen him do in the past. But let's talk about who is going to be Mohammad Siraj's likely replacement. Is it going to be Ishant Sharma? experience versus Umesh Yadav, quicker, better on current form if you compare the two bowlers?
Yeah, this is an interesting choice. And, I am going with Ishant Sharma, but, those are sort of, my predictions based on certain calculations. So Ishant Sharma has the height. Ishant Sharma has the experience of 105 tests. As you said, Ishant Sharma also has a great record in Sena post 218. Fantastic numbers, averaging around 23 in Sena post 218. Also, he's a war horse. He can hold one end and bowl long spells, which Umesh Yadav doesn't do, and he can extract extra bounce from the wicket because of his height. Umesh Yadav, on the other hand, hasn't done that well in Sena countries overall, and since 2018, he has an excellent record in India. What he brings to the table, Meha, though, is his ability to reverse swing the ball, which is crucial. India lacked that at Johannesburg in the second innings, if you remember. So that is crucial for Umesh Yadav. Also, he has extra zip, extra pace, and extra venom. So it's going to be a tight call for Virat Kohli and the team management. I think they may just go with Ishant Sharma because of experience and having played in these conditions. Umesh Yadav hasn't played in South Africa.
That is right. So that is something that I think all eyes will be on to figure out who is going to be that replacement for Mohammad Siraj. Let's also talk about Nikhil, South Africa, and how brilliant was that win for them, led by their captain, Dean Elgar. I mean, he can be so proud of it, the way he batted. And, that was some hostile bowling on the last day. And for him to hold fort and just take his team across the line, I think that will be remembered for a really long time. But Dean Elgar and his boys, how do you think they'll be approaching this test match?
I mean, they are really inspired and motivated. Dean Elgar, is turning out to be not only a great batsman, but also, a motivational captain. Look what he did to Rabada, that magical spell he produced in the second innings. Dean Elgar has all the qualities of a fine opener. As we've discussed, Meya, before, he is a quintessential classical left-handed test batsman, very old school, like Alistair Cook, someone like a Tom Latham. Tom Latham recently made a 250 against Bangladesh in the match they just won by an innings. So, he attaches a price on his wicket. He's not very flamboyant, not very attractive to look at, but he's very, very effective. In the fourth innings, you can see his numbers. Most balls for an opener since 2017. Most balls in the fourth innings for an opener since 2017. Highest average in the fourth innings in this time frame for an opener. So it just shows when the conditions are the toughest, which they are in the fourth innings, he produces his best. He's done this before also. In 2018 in Johannesburg against India, he was 86 not out, but South Africa lost this match, lost that match. This time around, he took them to victory. So, Dean Elgar has all the qualities of a very, very fine, test opener. And what he has said, very, very strong words before this match. If I can take body blows for the team, I expect everyone else to take them too. So he expects everyone, to raise their performance and come out triumphant. And this test match can be a resurgence for this South African team who have been in the doldrums for the last 3 or 4 years.
That's right. I mean, he's done everything to motivate this team, not just led from the front, but has said the right words. What he said to Rabada was instrumental in that brilliant spell by Rabada, which got them 3 wickets and changed the complexion of the match. But let's also talk about how big an advantage batting first on this pitch is. So the team winning the toss would want to bat first, but completely skewed in the favor of teams that have batted first. If those numbers could go up on the screens, as we said, huge advantage for the team that is batting first, 4-1. That's the number, the advantage that the team gets for batting first in the last 5 matches. Also, Nikhil, one of the things is about this pitch itself. Like we saw at the Wanderers and Centurion, there is going to be bounce, but it is a more fairer surface, so to say. Isn't that so? I mean, it's not going to be a belter of a surface, but this is a far better surface for fast bowlers, for batsmen, as well as for the spinners, because not just the fast bowlers who've got wickets here, even the spinners have taken wickets.
Absolutely. It's a very interesting wicket in Cape Town. And, the conditions vary according to the high tide or low tide in the, Atlantic Ocean, which is, Cape Town is a port in the southwest part of South Africa. So when there's a high tide, Meha, the fast bowlers get a lot of assistance and it becomes very difficult for the batsman. When there is a low tide, the temperature rises, it becomes warm, and it becomes almost a batting paradise. Unlike Centurion and Johannesburg, this wicket is very true. It has good bounce, it has pace, but it's not very quick. So it is in patches it becomes an absolute belter for the batsman, and in patches it becomes a paradise for fast bowlers. Overall, it's neither a belter nor a bowling paradise for fast bowlers. So it's somewhere in between this wicket, and therefore, if you see the numbers at this ground, they're very interesting. Since 2000, Cape Town has the best batting average amongst all South African grounds and the worst bowling average and worst bowling strike rate. Yet you have seen team collapsing here in sessions, which is fascinating. So again, a lot to do with the local conditions at that high tide and low tide. Also, batting first is definitely an advantage. Last 5 matches, 4-1, the team who has batted first leads. Therefore, the mantra should be win the toss.
Here, I think we seem to have. I think we. I think we seem to have lost the connection there. But if you can hear me, Nikhil, and for all our viewers as well. Yes. 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 The perils of using Zoom ever so often, but what can one do in these days? Yeah, so advantage batting first. Also a fair surface, as we've been saying. Nikhil, let's talk about the likely playing 11 then, something we love to do. If we look at what we thought is the likely playing 11, and those names can go up on the screens now. India's likely playing 11, as we said, would be the same, except Virat Kohli comes in from the last test match. And, oh my goodness, Hanuma Vihari sits out yet again. What does one even tell Hanuma Vihari? I mean, I don't even know how to sort of have a conversation with Hanuma Vihari about why he keeps getting left out. But yes, if the names can go up on the screen, there you have it. Virat Kohli comes in. It's the same team, except Virat Kohli comes in place of Hanuma Vihari, and in place of Mohammad Siraj, there is likely going to be Ishant Sharma. As Nikhil was talking about, why India would likely go in with Ishant Sharma is that height difference. We've seen the kind of impact the taller bowlers have made in Johannesburg, and I think India might want to look into that. Also, the experience of 105 test matches that Ishant brings with him. Nikhil, just your last thoughts on, why this being a more fair surface has not seen India win here. I mean, I would think that Wanderers is one place where India wouldn't do well, but it's the other way around, whereas Cape Town is where India have come close. We saw even in 2018, Hardik Pandya played a great innings, scored 93 runs. But
yeah, you're right.
I mean, in the end,
a lot of analysts have answered the question. What is, I think, into test matches and it's a bowling batting paradise.